So as far as the Patriot movement, and that's what LWN is, we are part of many patriots out there searching for the truth and delivering the news like it should be delivered. All right, LWN. LW is now a licensed broker for Miles Franklin. So if you need any help purchasing precious metals, if you need help maybe flipping your 401k over into a self-directed IRA, your pension funds, your retirement, any need, any question that you have, you can reach out to me at lwnreloaded@gmail.com. Would love an opportunity to earn your business and to answer your questions. And hold on, folks. This week's specials, beautiful, beautiful. The silver Buffalo Bull Mint rounds while supplies last, only $2.85 over spot. On one side of the coin, you have two buffaloes, two bulls going head-to-head. You got a Native American chief on the other side of that coin. Absolutely gorgeous coin for only $2.85 over spot while supplies last. We also have assorted Buffalo silver rounds while supplies last, only $2.65 over spot. Some of the cheapest prices I've seen so far since I've been a broker for Miles Franklin. I have some of these beautiful coins myself. They look just like a Buffalo nickel, where they have a buffalo on one side. They have the Native American on the other side. Just a beautiful, gorgeous coin, only $2.65 over spot. Again, if you're thinking about the things that are going on in the United States of America, in our economy, the things that the Fed has just put out this week, and you're concerned about your 401k, is it going to last? Is the market going to crash? And what does that mean for you? I would be glad to answer those questions for you, for your 401k, for your pension funds, for your retirement. If you have just some cash laying around and you want to know how to invest it, hey, reach out to us right here at Miles Franklin, and we will be glad to answer those questions and help you through it. You can reach me at lwnreloaded@gmail.com. All right, LWN, if you want to know how to get in on the monthly coin giveaway, it's pretty simple. Simple donation will get your name put in the drawing each and every month that we do the coin giveaway. First way to do it is to buy me a coffee. The links are always dropped in chat. So all you have to do is buy me a coffee just once a month, and your name will be put in the drawing for that beautiful coin. And if you are watching us on Facebook, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask, what are stars? How do I donate? How do I get my name put in the drawing? Well, you can purchase Facebook stars, and then it's just like Super Chat or anything else. You can drop a comment in there with the stars. I got away from Super Chat because YouTube was taking over 30% of everything that you guys donated to us here at LWN. So you can buy a star. The stars support the creators, and that is an easy way for you to get your name put in the drawing. Here's some information for you here. Some cost for the stars. You can get 45 stars for 99 cents. You can get 145 stars for $2.99. I think basically each star is like 1 penny. So if you drop 100 stars, that's like $1. So euros, of course, you can buy them anywhere. Put them anywhere you want there in the chat, and that will definitely get your name put in the drawing each and every month for these beautiful coins that we are giving away here at LWN. All right. Welcome back, America. Welcome back to LWN. We have back with us for the second time, Connie Davies. If you guys remember, she was out of the great state of Arkansas. She was down there to protest an FBI agent, a dirty FBI agent, corrupt FBI agent, and they were down there protesting in front of the courthouse as he was being, I believe it was sentenced. And it sounds like he got a slap on the wrist. So Connie is here with us this evening to give us an update and try to let us know where this case is going. It sounds like possibly his brother is now maybe wanting to jump on and tell his story for his brother as well, and we'll give him the opportunity to do that. So with that being said, I'll just go ahead and ask Connie to go ahead and join me here on stage. Let's give her all a warm LWN welcome. Thanks for joining and being back on LWN, Connie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. I certainly appreciate your time once again. You've been very generous.
Well, this is the battle that we're in. We're out there exposing the corrupt three-letter agencies, the corrupt politicians, the corrupt school boards. And we here at LWN, my mission statement is simple: unify, educate, and motivate. And we really need to get these stories out to educate people and then to motivate them to start getting involved at their local level. And that's something that you took on as a personal mission, Connie. You saw this story, you saw how Mr. Woods was being mistreated. And so you decided to put actions behind your words and get out there and get involved. And, you had quite a show up in Arkansas there. I think, was it earlier this month or last month? I lose track of time, but I know it was
Yeah.
recently that
Yes.
you guys were down there basically protesting and trying to let the judge know that this FBI agent that's corrupt should have, justice served to him, which they served justice, but did they serve enough of it?
No, not at all. And I think anyone hearing this story from beginning to end would certainly agree with us that justice was not served as was appropriate for the crimes that were committed by an FBI agent. I was appalled at what I witnessed. And knowing about Jon Woods and knowing what's happened to him in recent years has been a real shock to me. As an American government teacher, I would expect more from our government. And as we see happening, not just in the Jon Woods case, but we're seeing all across the country, the government is abusing its power against American citizens. And we should all be concerned. Yes, I'm concerned as a concerned citizen, but we should all be concerned about what we're seeing going on in our country right now. This is just a small piece of a bigger corruption puzzle that needs to be put together. And we're hoping that the new committees that came into power a couple of weeks ago in Washington might be able to collect some information to do something about what's going on the highest levels of government.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Connie. And let's, in a nutshell, for viewers who maybe didn't catch the first part of this story, let's tell them exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about Jon Woods out of Arkansas and the things that happened to where he is now facing, if I remember correctly, it was 14 years in prison for something. Right. For something that a lot of these corrupt politicians do on an everyday basis. But again, we talked, I think, the first time about a two-tier justice system. There's a justice system for the elites and for the ones that are in their good old boys club, and then there's the justice system for the rest of us that we pay dearly for a lot of times. And sometimes we actually pay more than what we should have. And so that's what we're kind of covering today. So if you could, again, just kind of tell us about Jon a little bit real quick and why he's in prison and the fight that he's against right now.
Sure. Jon Woods was a former Arkansas state senator. He proudly tells people that he was the first and the only public official in the state of Arkansas to endorse President Trump during the presidential primaries in 2016. Now, whether that was the reason he was targeted, we really don't know all the ins and outs behind what all happened. But if you go back and look at the trial way back in the district level, You can see that there were a lot of conflicts of interest in that case. There were a lot of questions that someone looking at this from the outside in, your average American citizen that has any idea of what the justice system should look like, they would have questions. We had questions. Going back to the pretrial hearings is where it all really started, when we knew that something was up. He was charged with fraud and bribery, having to get money for a Christian school in the state of Arkansas. The prosecution claimed that he took kickbacks from getting money for a Christian school. He claims that he did not do that. We have many reasons to believe, beyond his own word, why that is not true. The biggest piece of evidence we have in our argument is the fact that there was some information on the computer of an FBI agent, Robert Cesario, that never made it to court. During the pretrial hearing, information came up about Robert Cesario and his laptop that had information on it. We were never able to access that laptop because he destroyed it. And this is the key, Michael, and this is what would raise any suspicion in the hearts of anyone looking at this, just, neutral. This FBI agent was told in pretrial hearings to turn in his laptop for forensic examination. After being told to do that, he took it to a computer shop there in Arkansas, had it erased, and then took it home. And that was the 4th of December, I think, in 2017. 2 days later, took it home, did it again before he turned it into the court. When asked by Judge Timothy Brooks why he did it, he claimed that he had medical records on his computer that he did not want to be disclosed. An actual prosecutor in that pretrial hearing said that's like saying you're burning down the house because you don't like the drapes. That's how extreme it was. So for one, this FBI agent, veteran FBI agent for 17 years, was told to bring in a computer for forensic examination. He destroyed the computer, didn't alter information. He actually destroyed the computer, destroyed it a second time, and then lied to the judge and said it was because there were medical records on his computer that he did not want to be disclosed. So he committed crime right from the onset. The interesting thing about this pretrial hearing is that Judge Timothy Brooks ordered that the jury, when it came up for trial, that the jury was not to know anything about Robert Cesario or this computer. It was not brought up before a jury. So it raises a lot of suspicion. What was on that computer? And what was on that computer, was it just about the Jon Woods case, or was there something more on there? We don't believe it was medical records. We agree with the prosecution. It's like burning down the house because you don't like the drapes. Why would you destroy an entire computer hard drive in a case like this after being told to bring it in? So he lied, he was in contempt, and then he destroyed evidence that he actually admits was relevant to the Jon Woods case.
Here's the photo of the FBI agent right here, and that was my point that I was getting ready to bring up. Was the last episode that you and I did, Connie, on this. You brought the documentation that we showed. Mm-hmm. We showed the court papers to our audience where he actually confessed that he wiped the computer so that it could not have forensic audit done on it. Exactly. Confessed in court. So here is the FBI agent right here. And here's my question to you. The Christian school where supposedly this fraud happened, did they press charges? Are they involved in this case in any way, shape, or form? Or is this something that it seems like the state might have picked up and ran with it? Because that does happen on occasion where things happen and somebody doesn't want to press charges, but yet the state says, no, there's enough evidence here. We're going to take it and we're going to press charges. So what's the case with the Christian school here?
Well, the truth of the matter is that the president of the college was also indicted. They put him on trial, and there were actually 3 co-defendants. It was Jon Woods, a man by the name of Randall Shelton, and Orrin Paris, who was the president of the college. What made this really bad for Jon was that Orrin Paris did plead guilty, And you know that anytime there are co-defendants in a trial, for someone to admit to guilt makes it look really bad for those that didn't.
Yeah.
Jon Woods stuck it out because he said, I did not do what they claimed that I did. They tried to get him to take a plea bargain, and the more they tried the arm twist tactic on him, the more he stood his ground and said, I'm not taking a plea, because he knew legally that if he took a plea, that this could never go to court, and he could never get the truth out about what really happened. So he stood his ground, knowing that he was going to prison, and knowing that his stay in prison would probably be pretty lengthy, but he took he took a chance, hoping that the system would work for him, and it did not. It ended up going into the appellate court. And the interesting thing, I'm not sure that we brought this up in the last segment, but there was actually a organization that wrote an amicus curiae for the appellate court, saying that this was one of the most egregious acts of government misconduct that they had ever seen. And they actually were writing this in favor of justice, not writing in favor of Jon Woods, writing in favor of justice, saying that his due process rights had been violated. All three of these men that were prosecuted were their rights were violated. And Jon and his one of the co-defendants, Randall Shelton, stood the ground and did not take the plea, hoping that in the appellate court that the truth would come out. So anyway, when this happened back in August, now of course Jon was found guilty in the federal district court. In the appellate court, they upheld the
ruling,
the decision.
Yep.
And then when this happened in August, we thought, here it is. Here we go. This man did admit his guilt. They knew in 2017 he was guilty of this, but there was no admittance of it. He tried to cover it up. Finally, in August of this past year, he admitted that he did destroy the evidence. He took a plea deal in a 19-minute hearing in the court in Arkansas. And in his plea, actually admitted to everything that he had done, but taking only one charge, and that was the destruction of evidence in the Jon Woods case. We don't know what the other charges were that the government had against him. We would like to find that out. In fact, Jon has tried to submit a FOIA to find out what other crimes this FBI agent did that the DOJ found out about. And we've not been able yet to find out exactly everything that they had on him. So he took that plea. And we were hoping... Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the photos that we have here too, and how many, can you tell
Sure.
the audience about how many people showed up, and how did the day go for the protesting? How were you received by the courts? Obviously, they handed down a very diluted piece of justice to this FBI agent, probably not the justice that we were seeking. But can you tell us a little bit about this day?
Yes, we actually arrived in Arkansas on the 2nd. We were there for a press conference on the 3rd of January. And did I say August? I meant January. January the 2nd, we arrived there. We were at the courthouse on the 3rd for a press conference. The lady pictured right there with me that's holding the big green yellow sign is Patsy Wooten. Patsy Wooten is from Arkansas. She's feet on the ground there in the state. She's been with Jon since day one. She knows all about his pretrial hearing, all about his federal hearing, and his appeal, everything. She's been there by his side from day one. So she's been a great resource to have. In fact, without Patsy, we would not have the information that we have today. We got there on the 3rd for this press conference, and because of her hard work in getting media packets to local media throughout Arkansas, we had good media coverage. Even though there wasn't many of us that actually showed up, they certainly cooperated with us, and they certainly were interested in this story. As you see here, we've got signs that we made. FBI lied, justice denied was a big eye catcher, and the signs that we made the night before. It's amazing how much a small group of people can do, and it could be a real encouragement for those of you that might think, well, what good is my voice? What can I do? Well, this small group of people that showed up on the lawn of the justice, the courthouse that day, actually made a pretty big impact, because news spread all over Arkansas about why we were there and what was going on with Robert Cesario. We said, we're going to make him famous. Okay. We're going to let people know who he is, even though you can't find anything much on the internet now, except for what happened these days that we were there in Arkansas. The media, many of the media that were there had been there from the days of the initial hearing for Jon Woods. And we kind of got the feeling that they were interested in this case, because now it seems as though there's been a turn in the evidence and the truth of what has really happened. They seem to be just as curious as we are as to what did the DOJ do in investigating Robert Cesario for those 4 years, waiting for him to come up and admit to his guilt. They were very interested in this story, and we were actually working side by side with the media. The pictures you see right here of Robert Cesario were actually taken by my husband, who shared them with the media outlets that were represented there. So we were all kind of huddled together, not that they were working side by side with us necessarily, but certainly cooperating to try to get this story out. And I really enjoyed working with those guys. They did a great job covering it. Like I said, it went all over the state on January the 3rd, and then some follow-ups on the 4th. By the 5th, the day of the actual sentencing, they showed up again, of course, on the lawn of the courthouse. We went in for the hearing. We didn't feel that our place was going to be outside that day. It was going to be inside watching what was going on. The hearing was scheduled for 10 o'clock. It started up at about 10:30, and within 25 minutes, it was all over. The interesting thing that happened, we had, if you don't mind me going on, we had the sentencing agreement, the sentencing memorandum that Robert Cesario's lawyer had sent to the court. And that was on the 12th of December. So we had that. We knew that he was asking for 1 year unsupervised probation. The plea agreement that came out in August said that he could get 20 years in prison. So when we got the sentencing memo from the lawyer, from Cesario's lawyer, that said 1 year unsupervised probation, we knew we were in trouble. We knew that he was probably going to get probation. The other thing that I'm not sure we talked about previously, but in that memo, his excuse for asking for such a light sentence was he noted 2 other FBI agents, Kevin Kleinsmith, that was part of the Russia hoax, the FBI investigation of Donald Trump. Kevin Kleinsmith evidently got 1 year unsupervised probation. That was his justification. And also there was a William Don Tissipy from the state of Missouri that had done some investigating in a case having to do with the Missouri governor. He got 1 year unsupervised probation. And those were his examples of why he was justified in asking for this light sentence. So to us, though, that to me is kind of self-incriminating. You're giving examples of other FBI agents that are destroying evidence in cases having to do with federal law, and they're getting a slap on the wrist and sent home. That was astonishing to us that he would even actually do that. To me, that is pretty much admitting that the FBI has a systemic problem in, destroying or tampering with evidence in a case. So then that was the 12th of December. On the 15th of December, we got the response from the government, what the prosecution was asking the court. Interesting. It was very interesting to sit in the courtroom and see the government on both sides of the aisle, right? Yeah. You had the prosecution that was prosecuting one of their own. You don't really expect them to bring justice down on one of their own. Well, they as well said they agreed with the lawyer for probation. They were asking for 1 year supervised probation. And just to remind Cesario of the seriousness of his crime, they wanted to add a fine as well. So we're sitting there looking at this thinking, is this believable or what? You've got an FBI agent that committed crime, obviously could get 20 years in prison, and he's asking for 1 year unsupervised probation, with the government agreeing with it. And another thing, Michael, go ahead.
Here's what I want to make comment on, and we've talked about this here at LWN a couple of times. Do you really believe that the government is, one, going to police themselves, two, indict themselves, three, arrest themselves, four, convict themselves of any crimes? And we're seeing that across multiple facets of our government and our agencies all over the place, that these guys, pardon the pun, but they get away with murder because they don't have to adhere to the rules, laws as us citizens do. They consider themselves above the law. This is part of the two-tier justice system that we're talking about. I want to ask you this question before we watch these news clips that you sent me. Did any of the local news channels interview any of you guys about this?
Oh, yes. We were interviewed.
Okay.
Yes. And it was very good. In fact, they tried to interview Robert Cesario and his lawyer. And of course, they didn't want to talk to anyone about what happened. I think they were wanting to quickly get away from there. But I don't think they were expecting to be confronted at all. I think they were thinking that this was going to stay under the radar. No one was going to show up. Nobody was going to show any interest in this. And I think the fact that we were even there, and the media was there to cover this story, I think was a little bit of a shock for them. And, we really want to make the public aware of this situation. And we're not done. It may look like it's over. It's not over.
Well, this isn't just something that's a extremely rare story that you're telling either, Connie. This is something that we want to bring to the attention of our audience, that this happens frequently. These people believe they're above the law. And I'm going to ask Connie here a question in a minute because it pertains to above the law. But let me share screen again. I want to share the news clippings that she sent to me. So let's watch a couple of these real quick. Let me know if you can make sure you can hear this. Would you please, Connie?
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yes, I can.
Today in court, Robert Cesario apologized for what he did 5 years ago and said he was trying to protect his medical records when he wiped his computer hard drive. And now that was in spite of a court order not to. Now today he was sentenced to 3 years probation, but some say that's not enough.
Mr. Cesario, do you want to make a comment?
That's Robert Cesario leaving federal court. He did not want to talk with us. The 17-year veteran of the FBI was sentenced to 3 years probation, 6 months of home confinement, and a $25,000 fine after pleading guilty to one charge of corrupt destruction of an object in an official proceeding. According to the plea agreement, U.S. attorneys for the government recommended probation, and the judge agreed.
He destroyed evidence as an FBI agent. The law says that he could get up to 20 years in prison, and 3 years at home confinement does not satisfy us.
Connie Davies is an advocate for former state senator Jon Woods. In 2018, he was convicted on 15 public corruption-related charges and sentenced to 18 years and 4 months in prison. Cesario was an FBI special agent investigating the case. In court, the judge said Cesario had interviews with witnesses on his laptop and was ordered to submit it for forensic examination. But Cesario wiped the hard drive twice. Cesario told the judge it was to protect his medical records.
It was a crime that he committed. And there is a man sitting in prison because all the evidence in the Jon Woods case never came to trial. He had that evidence. He destroyed it on his computer. And now he wants to go home to be with his children. That is not a fair sentence.
But in court, Judge P.K. Holmes III said Cesario's actions made it more difficult for the prosecution, who was not allowed to use the witness recordings in the Woods trial. They were preserved, and Holmes said the defense could have used them, but chose not to. Holmes also said there was no exculpatory evidence on the laptop that showed Woods was innocent, but questions still remain.
How do we know that? The computer was destroyed.
The judge also told Cesario that starting today, he's only allowed to leave his home if it's approved by probation officers. Now, family members of Woods were also inside the courtroom today. More on that tonight at 6. In Fort Smith, Brett Rains, 4029 News.
Let me catch this other one real quick.
Mhm.
We'll play it, but there you have it.
Yeah,
he
that's
basically
that covers it really well.
a little.
Your
that,
vehicle is your co-pilot to work, and more importantly,
that one covered
life.
it just fine.
From school drop-off,
Yeah,
film shopping, the ball field.
Well, I'll just stop share then because I can't find the other one anyway. So
that's okay. Yeah, that covered it pretty well. Brett Rains was there covering the story with us on the 3rd and the 5th, and really did a great job. I mean, he was being very fair. You can kind of tell by his attitude that he's questioning about this FBI agent and what actually happened. So anyway,
well,
but, you know,
this is the deal. The judge ordered him to, again, bring in the laptop for
yes.
investigation. And in the story, it says he didn't just wipe it once, he wiped it twice.
Right.
You talked about Hillary Clinton and the 33,000 emails that she wiped and all the computers and devices that they completely destroyed with hammers. When is enough going to be enough for the American people? This is not okay. I can tell that Connie is frustrated and rightfully so. This is not okay with him being handed down a whole 6 months locked in the house. I mean, who cares? And then 3 years probation and $25,000 fine. He should have served 20 years. Just like if I would have wiped my computer clean of evidence, they would have threw the book at me. They wouldn't have given me 3 years of probation. So
Exactly.
Hillary Clinton does it. And then here I'm gonna go to my question. Nancy Pelosi and her husband, insider trading. This is a constant theme here in America where these politicians can do whatever they want. They can destroy evidence. They can have insider trading. They seem to be above the law. There's a 2-tier justice system. If you and I would have got caught, if I was your stock market guy and I gave you insider trader information, who was the home decor lady that got caught doing that? And she spent, I don't know, it was at least 12 months in prison. Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart, she got caught with insider trading. She went to prison for that. But yet Nancy Pelosi, her husband, nobody's even talking about it. When Hillary Clinton went in front of the Congress, we got evidence, but we're not going to prosecute. Here we have an FBI agent who's dirty, which I heard there was another FBI agent just arrested yesterday or day before in the Russia deal. Is it going to be another one of those things where he goes to court and they slap him on the wrist and say, no big deal? So this 2-tier justice system needs to be tore down.
Exactly. And, right now, I feel that if we can get Congress to do something to try to truly investigate and do something about what's going on in our government right now, I'm praying for Jim Jordan, who's going to be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. He says he's going to dig in there and he's going to try to seek out what has been taking place in the FBI and the DOJ. I don't know what they can do. But if some light could be, shed on the corruption and it be exposed and dealt with somehow in our system, right now it seems like that's our only hope that something can be done. It's shocking to see how the government has become the enemy of the people and how those in government seem to be working with one another to hold us hostage in our country and to
and they weaponize
they
weaponize 3-letter agencies against people that they don't like too.
Yes, and incriminate the common citizen. Before.
How are we going to trust that they are going to not just form a committee to investigate people? because they've done that over the years. They've done that with Hillary Clinton. They've done it with many people. The problem is once the investigation proves that there's enough evidence to prosecute, they don't indict, they don't arrest.
Exactly.
Even
And that's
if
what
they
needs to be done.
Even if they did, I still have no faith in the justice system to where they will be found guilty and actually have to serve real time.
Right.
3 years probation for destroying and tampering with evidence in a federal case. That should be an automatic 20 years. You are obviously guilty because you destroyed the evidence. No different than Hillary Clinton. She was 100% guilty and should have had to serve time for that. So frankly, I'm tired of this grandstanding. I'm a Jim Jordan fan. Don't get me wrong, but the grandstanding of we're going to investigate these guys, that is just to appease people like you and I, to get us off of their backs. When they say, "Oh, we're going to investigate," then we kind of cool off a little bit and say, "Oh, okay, let's see what happens."
We can't cool off.
We can't cool off, and we gotta throw that accelerator and not let off the accelerator.
Exactly.
To hold these people accountable and say, Jim Jordan, investigations are not good enough. We want investigations
and indictments,
arrestment warrants. We want warrants for and we want these people their day in court, and then we want prosecution. And if they're found guilty, we want in these positions, they should get the maximum sentence.
Exactly.
Not
there
the
should
minimum.
Be a higher standard for sure on those in public offices for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. And one thing that I feel too, Michael, if they would just have the courage to indict one, just get one, use one, just start with one. I believe what we would see would be almost like what they say, a circular firing squad. People would be pointing fingers at one another, knowing if they didn't come forward and come clean, they're going to be the next one going. Because the reason why, and I think of this a lot. I told you before, I'm a Christian and I'm inspired a lot by the Word of God. But it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, the hearts of the sons of men are fully set to do evil. And that's what we see in our government institutions now. Men that are fully set to do evil because they've gotten away with it and they've actually profited from doing evil things. And if the moral, God-fearing people in this country can't stand up to this, we're doomed. We're just doomed. There's nothing.
Here's another thought to that, Connie. If they would actually prosecute these people and they got the maximum sentence, it would keep future senators and congressmen and women from doing this stuff because they're like, holy cow, I don't want to get caught doing backdoor deals and having insider trading and destroying evidence, because look what happened to Hillary. Look what happened to Nancy. Look what happened to this FBI agent. I'm not taking that chance. But the problem is they know they can get away with it. So they continue doing it, just like you said. And it is high time that the American people seek and receive justice for these elected officials that seem to be above the law in this two-tier justice system. I'll say it again. It needs tore down and burned to the ground. It's time to get back to the Constitution, and it's time to hold these people accountable for their actions.
Well, the rule of law is lacking for sure. And, we say that, without truth, there's no justice, and without justice, there's no freedom. So if we love our freedom, we'll fight for the truth and we'll fight for justice. And that's why I'm in this fight. I told you before, I'm a grandmother and a school teacher. Why would I spend my time away from my family to fight this battle? There are plenty of people that have literally gone to the battlefields and sacrificed everything in order to fight for freedom for those that they love. And that's why I'm in this. And people in America need to stand up wherever they might be and do whatever it is that they can do to stop this train wreck, because who else is going to do it? It's the people. It's the patriots. It's the God-fearing Americans in this country that, can do something. Will do something. But if together we fight these battles, possibly something can be done. I just can't sit back and watch this kind of thing happen to an innocent person. And I do believe he's innocent. And I do believe that Cesario is obviously guilty. I will tell you some things that we are doing that have occurred since I was with you the last time. I told you at that point that we were looking to put up a website. The website is up.
Okay.
And so anyone that is interested in reading more about the Jon Woods case, it's defendapatriot.com.
Okay.
And I didn't say that last time because it was in the works. We didn't have it up, so I didn't want people going on and not being able to find anything. But defendapatriot.com. When your viewers go to that website, there'll be two pictures on the homepage. One is former Congressman Steve Stockman from Texas. He was a U.S. congressman who was railroaded, much like Jon Woods. When he went into Congress during the Obama years, he knew that the country was going in the wrong direction. He got there and found just truckloads of corruption and spent much of his time trying to target what was going on in the country. Steve's picture is on that front page, and we are in the process of reconstructing his information so that it's more user-friendly. It needed to be changed. But the other picture you will see is Jon Woods. If you click on the picture of Jon, you will find some of the articles that have been written, some of the news coverage that has been done recently, podcasts like yours and others that have hosted me on their podcast, court filings for people that might be interested in the legalities of all of this, that might have maybe some advice or information to share with us that might help us in this legal battle. We're trying to construct that and keep that up to date for people that are interested in this. We also, just this morning, was able to get our donation button on that front page, a donate button. A Give, Send, Go, I think, is the platform that his brother chose to use. If anybody wants to give donations to his legal fund, I can promise you, after what Jon has been through and his family has been through, every penny of that money is going toward Jon's defense, to help him out in this legal battle. Again, right now, we're not sure what our options are, what the recourse is for Jon. We are trying to get information to this House Judiciary Committee, whatever they can do to investigate a little bit further, because again, like I said before, I think this is a small piece of the bigger puzzle that they're challenged in trying to put together. And if that helps Jon in any way at all, then so be it. Whatever we can do to get the word out, to make people aware of Jon Woods. He is not an isolated case. And I told Jon, I said, Jon, you're a face for a cause for me. And because I know you, I'm fighting for you, but I know it's much bigger than you. And that's the motivation behind what we're doing.
You know, this is something that I think everybody should share this video out. Check out the webpage. We'll put the webpage in the description below so that you guys can grab that and link onto it. Jon Woods is fighting for his life right now, folks. This is something that hopefully the Judiciary Committee will look at it and see the evidence and say, whoa, wait a minute. This FBI agent cleaned his laptop, destroyed evidence. We need to check into it even further. I hope something comes of that. Our prayers go out to Jon Woods and his family. Looking forward to the opportunity to connect with his brother and get him on here. Maybe he can give us his perspective of what's going on with his brother's case. Any final thoughts today, Connie, for our audience? And thank you so much for coming back and giving us this update. We'll keep an eye on this case throughout the coming months and see if the Judicial Committee will pick it up, and if we can catch any traction there. I'd love for you to come back and give us an update on that. So any final thoughts for today for the audience?
I would sincerely ask that you pray for Jon and his family. It's been a heart-wrenching experience for them, just not even being a family member, seeing what it's done to this family. It breaks my heart. There are others that are going through situations like this that have been wrongly treated. The J6ers, again, we talked about them before. Others that we may not even know about. pray for our country, pray for those that have been wrongly accused and are sitting in prison cells right now, and pray that justice be rendered in these situations. Because really, if we don't have a change in our country, we might as well line up. We're all going to have our turn facing these kind of false prosecutions, and that's something that all of us should dread. We shouldn't want to see that happen to anyone. God tells us to remember those who are in prison as if we are their fellow prisoner, out of the book of Hebrews. And that's the way I see this. We're fighting. We're doing all that we know to do. We're trusting God with the outcome. We don't know what to expect. I will tell you this, though, Michael. The night before we were going to that courthouse, I really needed to be encouraged by the word of God. Mm-hmm. And God sent me to Psalm 64. Go back and read it. It talks about the wicked and the wicked thinking that nobody sees what I'm doing. And then God says in that chapter, I think it's verse 7, that God will send an unexpected arrow. He will send an unexpected. I believe that. Amen. I believe that. I just choose to believe that the God of the universe, who is the God of all justice, has an unexpected arrow, and we're trusting him with the outcome. So thank you again, Michael. I cannot thank you enough for your interest in this case and giving me a platform to speak about Jon. And thank you again for everything. And those of you that are listening, thank you for your attention.
Absolutely. I'm going to leave the audience with this. Call to action. And you can be anywhere in this country and help Connie and help Jon Woods, and go to their website and try to get engaged wherever you can across this nation. But a bigger call to action to those of you who are listening to us in Arkansas, because remember the story of the person that sat there, and they came and they got the patriot, and they came and they got the school teacher, and they came and they got this person, and that person sat there because they weren't a patriot, and they weren't a teacher, and they weren't this, and they weren't that, until they finally came and got them. And then there was no one left to protect them or to fight or stand with them. My call to action tonight is this: for those of you in Arkansas, don't wait until they come and get you. Stand up, join this cause, and help this man find his innocence and prove his innocence to a court of law so that he can go home to his family. Because personally, like I said, if I was the judge, I think Mr. FBI there, who destroyed the evidence, would be the one behind bars, and Jon would be set free, because obviously there was stuff on that laptop he did not want people to see. And that's my final thought for tonight. Appreciate you, Connie, for coming back. Like I said, keep us posted, and I'll give his brother time here on the show if you'd like to hop up here.
Great.
And, keep up the fight. Keep your faith in God, because God is always there with us, and he's already won. We just have to do our part.
That's right. Thank you so much, Michael.
All right. God bless each and every one of you tonight, guys. Have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you back here on the next one. Liberty Warrior Nation, if you missed it last time, it's back. The biggest bed sheet sale ever. The Giza Dream Sheets, the bed sheets as low as $29.99 using promo code LWN. You could save up to 50% off. Don't forget, Mike Lindell and My Pillow have some of the best products out there. He has My Coffee, My Slippers. He's got bedding for dogs. He's got the bath towel sets. Lots of great products out there for every patriot. And if you'd like to support Mike Lindell, in return, supporting him also supports me here at LWN. Like I said, use promo code LWN. You could save up to 50% off the Giza bed sheets, $29.99.
Hoping for a sincere performance, but open to finding the moment, to finding out where I'm headed now. Looking for a sign of disaster, so I can make it there faster. I'm weighing the consequences out. I can see in all directions. It's all open to interpretation, but I see colors that are breaking from the other side, the other side. When I make mountains out of summer trails, when I buckle under all the details, I'll keep going till I make it to the other side, the other side. Can you tell me the secret of how you can take it or leave it? How you can blend in with the crowd? I'm so